Hey guys, this is my very small game room tour. I just wanted to give you guys a quick peek to see kind of what I'm working with and to prove that, even with limited space, you can kind of make something even though this isn't the best. So I'll try to make this quick. So let's go ahead and start out. This is pretty much the entire room, right? So let me go ahead and start out on the right side. This is where I keep all my games. Now, obviously, I don't have a lot going on, but I like to view it as, quality over quantity. So real quick to get started, up at the top, we got the Pokemon plushies. We got the PS2 inbox, not inbox, but it's just the box of PS2, which is super hard to find apparently. I mean, go to pretty much any gaming convention and you can find a PS2 in the box, but to find just the box itself is a lot harder than it looks. So I'm super happy I was able to pick one of those up. PS2 is my favorite console of all time by far. Going on to the first row, well, obviously Gundam up here. Have a couple Pokemon cards, have my handheld systems right there, have another Gundam, have some more Pokemon cards, and have a little light gun in the back. Pokemon, the first movie poster, absolutely love Pokemon, as you can tell. Moving down, we have PS2, starting with PS1. Everything I have is CIB, so it's all in alphabetical order as well, because that just helps me find things a lot easier. I have a couple of bangers in here. I got Alone in the Dark. We have Dino Crisis 1 and 2. Legend of Dragoon. Absolutely amazing game. If you guys have not played Legend of Dragoon, you are doing yourself a disservice. Please play this game. We got Metal Gear Solid. We have Medieval, Metal Gear Solid VR missions. Parasite Eve, one of my favorite games of all time. Parasite Eve 2. Huge horror fan. We got Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now guys, if you don't know already, for the Resident Evil Director's Cut, so there's pretty much two reasons why I wanted to pick this game up. So a lot of people might say, oh, why don't you just get the regular Resident Evil? Because for one, and I know the lighting's pretty bad, but this supports the DualShock analog, so that's pretty easy for me. I like having that. But also, if you guys haven't heard it already, Resident Evil Director's Cut basement theme. Please look that up if you have not heard it. It's pretty much one of those theme songs where it's like, how did this get into the game? And the story behind it is really interesting as well. So if you haven't already, go ahead and look that up. It is absolutely hilarious. So I'm super happy I was able to pick that up. Right beside it, again, Silent Hill 1. Absolutely amazing franchise. You guys probably already know that by now. Spyro the Dragon. I love Spyro. I grew up playing this one specifically. Ripto's Rage. Absolutely fantastic game. So going over to PS2, you can probably see which one is one of my favorites. It's God Hand. Guys, I heard so many good things about God Hand. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta try it. And I picked it up and it instantly became probably one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Please, if you guys haven't already, play God Hand, watch a playthrough of it, something, because it is an absolutely fantastic game. Clock Tower 3, there's a lot of PS2 horror games that people really talk about, right? We have your Silent Hill 2, we have Rule of Rose, Obscure, Haunting Ground, things like that. Clock Tower is kind of in that conversation, but it's definitely the weakest of the big PS2 horror games. But it's still an interesting play. I mean, it's not, terribly expensive, and it's a good collector's item to have. I like it. I think it's fun. Cold Fear. So this game's really interesting. So it's basically almost like Resident Evil 4, right? Imagine Resident Evil 4 on a boat. That's pretty much Cold Fear. It's really interesting, but it doesn't reinvent the wheel in any way, shape, or form. But it's still a game definitely worth trying. And then obviously DMC 1 and 3. We don't talk about DMC 2. You can't pay me to get that game. Moving over, God of War, Guitar Hero, all that fun stuff. Kingdom Hearts, classic, Jak and Daxter, Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Obscure. So this is the second Obscure. I don't have the first one. And the reason why it's pulled out is because I pull out the games that I have currently playing, so it's easier for me to get them put back in. That's really it. So if you see a game pulled out, that's why. Simpsons Hit and Run, Oakage, I think that's how you pronounce that. Super underrated game, really fun RPG. And then we have, of course, the classic Silent Hill 2, Absolutely love that game in my restless dreams. I love Silent Hill 2. Moving down here, again, Silent Hill, one of my favorite franchises. Have 2, 3, 4 Shattered Memories, and of course 1 for the PS1. Siren, a really interesting PS2 horror game. It's not really in the conversation with the big ones, but it's fun. And then we have The Thing and War of the Monsters, absolutely fantastic game. Now, moving over to PS3, we have classic Assassin's Creed, COD back when I was younger, Dead Island, Demon Souls, we have Mortal Kombat, and then this game right here, this one in Japanese. This is called Tokyo Jungle. So, basically in Tokyo Jungle, you are an animal that pretty much evolves. And you're trying to kind of fight for your life in some, what are you going to call it? Some maybe overgrown Tokyo, basically, where like nature took back over and it's just animals. So really weird, really interesting game. And then we have Dreamcast. I don't have many Dreamcast games, but the ones I do have are fun. I got Power Stone 2, The Ring Terror's Realm, Sega Sega Bass Fishing, and then Shenmue. You can't have a Dreamcast without having Shenmue. And then I have this really cool Silent Hill 2, I guess figure, you'd call it. I got it at the most recent convention I went to. So this this figure is not supposed to go like this. This is the spear that's supposed to go into his hand. But if you guys played Silent Hill 2, you know at the end of it, the pyramid heads, they, kill themselves with the spear in this pose. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. And it actually kind of stays in there pretty well, so that's awesome. Going down here, running out of games down here, but here's my GameCube. I got Eternal Darkness, Melee, just some notable mentions, and then I got some Nintendo Switch games. And then going over N64 games with the labels on top. I got those from Etsy, I think, and then a little bit of Super Nintendo. And finally, at the very bottom, guys, we have, seems like a hodgepodge. Again, lighting not good, but these are all like gaming magazines from like the 2000s, which I think is pretty cool. So going over to this is my Pokemon card display case. It used to be hanging up here, but these also used to be over here. I had to move them to get more natural light in the room. And the case broke when I was trying to put it up. So that's why it's on the floor. But I have some really awesome cards, if you can see it. Probably my favorite is the signed Charmander from Jason Page. Super, super cool. And just some random cards that I pulled that I thought was interesting. All right, now turning over here, we have pretty much all my consoles. So this is usually where I sit to play. Obviously, there's only one couch in here. I have a whole bunch of posters up here. Got some at my local game store. Well, most of them at my local game store. I got this Anne Orlando poster and this Silent Hill little postcard from a convention. And so I have a CRT and a flat screen. So how I have it set up is basically, don't look back here, but I have a splitter and I can, just switch between whatever game I want to play or whatever console. So right now it's on number 2, which is my N64, which is why we see Majora's Mask. And then I have my Dreamcast actually going through an HDMI upscaler. Again, it looks really bad back here. Please, please, please ignore it. And this is how I switch between that. So I have the Dreamcast, the PS3, and then a little Roku thing if I want to watch something like 2. I have this whole thing set up to where we have PS2 with a slim model on top, PS3, the GameCube, the N64, we have the Super Nintendo, and then again, the Dreamcast. So with the PS2, I actually have the, if you can see it right here, the Freemake boot with the USB flash drive to play non-American games. The one I've been playing the most of is Gregory Horror Picture Show, if you guys have heard of that. Super interesting game. Only came out, I think, in the PAL region. It might have come out in Australia. I'm not sure, though. I don't know if that's included in that, but super interesting game. Super fun. Going over, we have Turtle that my girlfriend made. A little whale that my girlfriend made. And then a little sleeping Pikachu that I stole from my girlfriend. Coming over here, I know this is kind of small. This is, again, is all temporary. I have all my controllers. This is going to be GameCube, PS2, N64, whatever you want. And it's all in, and this thing's broken, but it's whatever. It's all in plastic bags to prevent like dust and things like that. Down here, I have all the cables. They are all labeled. For example, this is PS2. And then odds and ends down here that I don't need to get into. Resident Evil 4 promotional banner. I absolutely love this thing. And I've been looking for promotional stuff for so long, and I was actually able to get this at Southeast Game Exchange this year. So I'm super, super, super happy about that. Up here, I know, messed up. It's going to be fixed. All work in progress. We have Power Glove. We have a custom Nintendo GameCube controller box. So I had somebody make me this. I'm sorry for the back camera stuff. I had somebody make me this, and they made their own custom box art for it. So the cool thing about this is on the back, that's a little drawing that I made, and they actually put it on the box. That's why I like it so much. So that's why it goes up here. And then we have a little Pokemon case with some more games in it. I think Game Boy Advance is mostly what it is. And then a little GG plushie. I have these little blow up things from when I went to RLCS. I have a whole bunch of lanyards that I collect. Playthrough Gaming Convention, Southeast Game Exchange, RLCS, a couple other stuff. Going over here, I have a bunch of Cinnamoroll stuff, more cards, more Cinnamoroll, Hello Kitty. And right here, it's actually a controller that I got signed by a whole bunch of Rocket League players back in, gosh, I don't know, 2017 now. So I'll keep that over there. This is another little poster, little lamp that I have here. I really like this. I don't really use it for much, but I really like it. And then we have the Pokemon the First Movie with the signature from Jason Page himself. So same person that signed the Charmander card, I met him in person and he signed that for me too. So that's really about it. That is the entire game room. So really sit down, play a couple games.